In this video, I'm going to check out this Ibanez Soundgear bass and give it a setup. And if you're interested in seeing how I recorded the background music, click on this link. I needed a bass around the studio, so I bought this one off the internet for 175 bucks. Not expecting too much out of it, really. This bass is in pretty good shape. The frets hardly have any wear or divots. And it's pretty clean. Now, I'm not adjusting the action here. I mean, I noticed it was a little high when I got it, but I'm just seeing if the truss rod moves freely by moving it back and forth, no more than a quarter turn in either direction. Cleaning it here with just some white vinegar and water, making sure not to leave it too wet or anything. Moving on to the lemon oil. I've gotten in the habit of rubbing this into every guitar neck when I change the strings. Hydrates the wood, cleans it up a little bit. Put quite a bit on a rag, wipe it on, leave a coating, wait a few minutes, then wipe it off. While the lemon oil soaks in, I'm going to check the frets for level. I span 3 frets with this tool and rock it back and forth, and if it rocks, that means the middle fret is higher, and I can sand it down. Wipe off the excess lemon oil. Some of the frets are a little dirty or corroded, so I'm going to take some 3000 grit sandpaper and clean it up a little bit. You could use steel wool or fret erasers, but this is what I have on hand. Try to be careful not to mar the fretboard. It's probably a good idea to use fret guards or fret shields or even painter's tape to protect the fretboard, but for 175 bucks, I'm not too worried about it. When taking new strings out of the package, it's important to never bend them or kink them because it will effectively ruin the string. So when you take them out, uncoil them and kind of let them have their own way. These type of tuners have a little hole in the center of the tuning post that you have to insert the string into, which that means you have to cut the string to length. It can be a little tricky and take some trial and error, but you want to make sure you don't have too many wraps of the string around the post. This can create tuning problems, and as the strings age, they'll be more prone to breaking. And as you tighten it, make sure the wraps come from the inside of the headstock out, not the outside in, which would create a steeper angle between the nut and the tuner, making both the nut and the string more prone to breaking. As I started tuning, I realized the whole tuner mechanism was kind of loose, so I'm going to tighten this nut here, making sure not to over tighten. One full wrap around the post is totally plenty. A lot of people definitely overdo it. You want to keep some tension on the string as you tighten it. I usually grab it with my middle and ring finger while pressing it down with my index finger. This neck has quite a bow in it, which is making the action pretty high, so I'm going to adjust both the truss rod and the saddle pieces. You can hold down the first and last fret to get a good eyeball line of sight, using the string as a straight edge to see which way your neck is bowed. While adjusting the truss rod with the strings on, you might dent the strings or damage them slightly as you turn, so usually I loosen and move the string out of the way. I want to oppose the pull of the strings on the neck by flattening it out, so I want to tighten the truss rod. Clockwise turn, I'm going to give it about a half turn, which is pretty aggressive. If you're unsure about it, definitely do smaller turns. You can even mark the truss rod to see how much you're moving it. Small movements, let it settle. Wait, then readjust if necessary. I like to keep the old strings and throw them in the case in case I ever need one. Wrap them up like this, making sure not to bend them. Lower the saddle pieces. I already plugged it in to check that the electronics were working. This will be the first time bringing it into tune. I try to play every fret on the instrument to see if it's buzzing out, but it's not buzzing here, so I know I can lower the action considerably. Takes a few tries to get it right. There definitely are some frets buzzing in the upper register past the 15th fret, and I could take it and sand those down and level them, but I'm not too worried about it. Let's see if it buzzes. lowering it a little bit more. Pleased. I think it's playing fine, and I might even be able to lower it a little bit further. Checking the intonation, seeing if the string goes sharp or flat when holding down the 12th fret compared to the open and harmonic at the 12th fret. The first string is pretty good. I don't need to adjust this. Not going sharp or flat. There as well, not going to mess with it. That one goes a little bit sharp. So when the string is sharp, I need to lengthen the string by tightening this saddle piece. Pretty good. That's pretty good as well. That goes a bit sharp. Let's see what the electronics do. Battery compartment. You see the 9-volt battery is powering this Phat EQ little circuit board here. The tone knob has a capacitor hanging off the side of it, so it is just an old-fashioned passive tone knob. And there is 3 leads going to the output jack. It is a stereo output jack, but not because it outputs in stereo. That 3rd lead is to turn on the use of the battery for the active Phat EQ when the cable's plugged in. Let's experiment with some of the sounds it makes. It has 2 pickups. They're both single coil and passive. When I first tested out the bass's electronics, it was really distorting badly when I had the Phat knob to maximum. So I wasn't sure if it was the battery, which I replaced, or the head rush preamp, which I was using. So I'm not using it, I'm going direct into the recording software. Here's the Phat knob at 0 and the neck pickup only. Here's the Phat knob at 0 and the bridge pickup only. Neck pickup. Here's both of them. I'm going to go back to the bridge pickup and put the Phat knob at halfway. Neck pickup. Both. Here's that Phat knob maxed out. Bridge pickup. Neck. Both. So it has a pretty wide range of tones, but that Phat knob adds so much volume, a considerable amount of volume. It doubles the volume, which is a little extreme, and it definitely still distorts. It's not just the preamp or the battery. It has a little bit of a distortion to it. But when it's not maxed out, it does give a similar effect to an active electronic setup. It adds volume and a little low end. Here I'm going to use the bridge pickup only and play with turning the Phat knob on and off. Here's something in the low register. So you see it changes the volume quite a lot.
Overall, I feel the bass plays pretty well for what it costs. But this is not a high-end instrument, and I would say that it would be good for a beginner, but because of the fifth string, maybe not so much. So this bass is more for somebody, maybe a bass player who has been playing a little while and is looking to experiment with a 5-string bass, or for someone like me who just wanted to do some simple tracking or substitute gigs here and there on a bass and not spend a whole ton of money.